And look at our technology and the way it's headed. You know, we're splicing genes. We're building little spacecraft. They're going out there. If DNA is information, then we were infused with some sort of information a long time ago. Look how different we are from every other species here. There's it seems obvious that there's something so very different about us. And it's like where we're at now. Where are we headed with all of this, with the space travel and genetic splicing? We have, you know, that's my comment. We have that in us.
I think you're absolutely right. Our brains are incredible, absolutely incredible. They are so much more than we need. There is so much more going on in there. I saw a little clip of a program last night about kids who, brains worked in strange ways and had all these incredible abilities, with music and art and things like that. And people who had memory, who could remember everything that's practically told to them. The potential database in our brains is massive. Now, if you try and understand that in terms of how we were 20,000 years ago sitting around in caves, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This is why I think Stitching's onto something, because you cannot take that kind of rural hunter-gatherer lifestyle and understand evolution that would create the capabilities and the potential that we now understand, or we're just starting to understand, as being necessary just for that kind of existence. It makes no sense. Something happened then. So I agree with you. And what we do with it, as we become the masters of genetics, as we learn the secrets that the Anunnaki had that time back, and we start to genetically manipulate ourselves, well, I mean, genetically modified people, it's a scary thought. Where are we going with this?
Let's go to Kevin in Riverside, California. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, am I on?
Yes, sir.
Hi, I just had two quick questions.
Okay.
One was, the Anunnaki you say are reptilian. Am I correct?
No. They look like us, don't they?
They do. I mean, the reptilian thing is sort of David Icke stuff, slightly different direction.
Oh, because I heard that they were reptilian. Okay, well, if they look like us and they came during the Ice Age, wouldn't it be hard for them to function because of the, freezing temperatures? And also the second question I had was that if Planet X, as you said it's coming closer, and every some years it creates some sort of catastrophic natural disaster, am I correct?
There may have been in the past catastrophic natural disasters that occurred, but they wouldn't be particularly frequent. But yes, there is a possibility that it stirred things up and has caused us problems. Yes.
But that's from it coming close to our planet, right?
Not particularly close to the Earth. It's a very complicated possibility.
Just close enough to disrupt it.
Oh, right. I just had one thing. I mean, wouldn't people, NASA and, other astronomers, wouldn't we see this by now and know?
I agree.
That's absolutely the big theory. Go ahead, Andy.
No, I agree, Kevin. If an object was going to draw close to Earth and cause us that much disruption, then yes. I mean, and not just NASA either. I mean, there are people out there in their back gardens every night looking for comets.
And by the way, with regards to the Ice Age, not every region on this planet during the Ice Age was frozen over.
No, absolutely.
Some of them continued to have their tropical climates, and I would guess if this happened in modern-day Iraq in the past, that probably was pretty pristine, don't you think?
Well, it may well be that the general, the world has been warming for a long time, and it may well be that the general climate was colder when they were here, and it may well be because they lived on a planet surrounding a brown dwarf, it was by definition colder there. It's not going to be as hot as we are close to our sun. And one of the reasons I think that they lived longer lives is because they weren't getting constantly irradiated by cosmic rays and X-rays and stuff out of our sun like we are. So their DNA held up better and they lived longer. So that's just an aside. But coming here, one of the reasons in the Bible they talk about the generations becoming shorter in years is because that sort of fairly pristine DNA that got transferred from somewhere that was quite safe in terms of cosmic rays comes down to the third rock from the sun and gets absolutely blasted. And all the lifespans of all the people starts to drop off generation after generation. And it may well be that the Anunnaki could only be here for a certain length of time before they either stayed here to die or they needed to leave. I know this sounds a bit disturbing, but I've got this very peculiar idea that the Earth, although we consider it to be some sort of absolute jewel in the crown that's the very, very best place to live in the universe, is actually quite a dangerous place, actually, in terms of, its proximity to the sun and how much we get blasted by radiation.
Back to the phones we go. Mill, Wisconsin. Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Eric.
Well, to quote one of my favorite movies, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, strange things are afloat at the Circle K, fellas.
One of Carlin's best parts.
Oh, you're not kidding, my friend. Basically, what I'd like to touch on is a couple of callers ago heard one of the gentlemen talking about the Nephilim. And basically, that's what I'm thinking is strange. They're digging these things up all over from what I can see and all the information I've been reading. They're just like you and me, George, but they're 30 feet tall.
They were giants.
Yeah, and they were the sons of the fallen angels and the earth women. And then the bad angels, I guess, came down and made these giants too. And then the bad giants started eating the people. And God said, well, I can't be having that. So instead of destroying them, he sent two of the archangels down, and one went to one side and one went to the other side, and they tricked each other into going to war with each other. And then came the great flood, et cetera, which would explain while they're digging these things up. I just don't understand why there's such a disinformation campaign out there to hide all this information. Even with the Planet X, I know it's coming. And from the information I've been reading about that, yeah, it makes sense. I think the poles are going to shift. All these children that are coming out now, I was born in 1972 and I was diagnosed with ADD. They put me on the pills. I said, no, you're going to take me off the pills. I got taken off the pills. I got better. I woke up. All these kids that are being diagnosed now with autism, they're not autistic. We just don't know how to operate on their frequency.
Well, that's much like this as well. We are out of time. Andy, I want to thank you for being on the program.
Thanks, George. I'd like to thank you, Lisa, Tom, Lex, and Stephanie for making my occurrence here very, very good. And, of course, to your audience as well, who have been absolutely magnificent.
You've done a great job, and good luck with the work, the Dark Star. And let's see how many people decide to come toward that end of the camp. Thanks again, Andy. For Karis Coburn, Dan Galante, Tom Danheiser, Lisa Lyon, Lex Lonehood, Sean Ladesseur, Ross Mitchell, George Knapp, Ian Punnett, and Art Bell, I'm George Norrie, somewhere out there on Coast to Coast AM. We'll see you on our next edition. Until then, be safe, everyone.